Hello, this is Graceville Solutions, and in today's video you would be learning step by step how to create this simple but cool design for your social media accounts. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you're ready, let's head straight into the video. Alright, so this is the image we'll be using for this tutorial. So I'm going to create a new document. Alright, so I go to, let me zoom into my screen, of course. I go to File, New, and then come to, it gives us the option. So I'm going to be using a dimension of 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels. Then I can just rename my project as social media post. Alright, then I leave other settings the way they are, and I go down and click create. So I'm going to click this and drag it into my work area. Yes, here. And then I'm going to resize it so that my image will fill up the canvas, something like so. Hit enter. Alright, so I'm going to still fill it up, drag my image so that it's going to fill up the space, the canvas. Alright, so next up I'm going to make this image, just do some little tweaking on this image. So I go to my camera raw filter option right here, and then let me just do a little tweaking on this image. Alright, so I come to my okay, let me go increase the contrast a bit. Alright, the highlights, yeah, just reduce the highlight a bit, and then I go to the texture, make it a bit, reduce the texture, and then the exposure, I think the exposure is okay. Okay, let me leave the exposure at plus 10. Alright, let me increase the black. Okay, give it a bit of black. Alright, so I think I'm done. You can also tweak your image to whatever to whatever style you want to. So when you're done, you go right ahead and click OK. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do right here is that I'm going to add a rectangle over this image. Alright, so I'm going to add a rectangle over this image. So I'm going to go to my rectangle, my shape tool right here, somewhere here. That's it. I'm going to take the rectangle tool and just draw a rectangle over the image. Then I'm going to give it a fill of black. So I come to my fill options right here, and I go for a black. Alright, I drop that. So next up I'm going to come to my layer options right here, and then on the rectangle layer, that is, you ensure that the rectangle layer is active, and then you go to your opacity and just turn it down, reduce the opacity a bit. Yes, so next up I'm going to take my rectangle tool once again, and I'm going to draw a rectangle over this design, something like so. Alright, so next up what I'm going to do right here is that I'm going to, under the properties panel right here, I'm going to ensure that there's no fill. So I'm going to click this appearance, under the appearance tab, click this fill, and then click this icon here, no fill. Alright, then I'm going to go to the stroke option. Then I'm going to increase the stroke. So I'm going to scroll down. Okay, I'm going to scroll down, increase the stroke. Okay, come here and give the stroke of let's say 1 pixel. Okay, I can just come here and type 1 pixel and hit enter. I drop my rectangle tool, then I zoom to see the effect. Alright, so let me increase the pixel a bit. So I go back to my layer options, select the rectangle, go to my properties, under stroke, let me scroll down and increase it to, let me say, 2 pixels. Alright, I think that's cool. So I drop my rectangle tool. So next up I'm going to go back to my layer options, and then okay, I'm going to select the rectangle, that's the second rectangle without a fill. Then I go down to my option right here, down here, and I'm going to give it a mask layer. Alright, now I'm going to ensure that my black is set to the foreground color and the white is set to background. Then I go to my brush tool, or just press the letter B on the keyboard, and then I'm going to resize the brush to reduce it by pressing the left bracket key on my keyboard, and then I'm just going to brush off this part of the laptop, the image of the so it look like the laptop is, the line is behind the the line, okay, the outline of the rectangle. So I'm going to do the same for here. All right, do the same, just brush it off so it looks like the line is underneath the laptop. All right, then I'm going to do the same for here as well. All right, just bring out all right, okay, so I'm going to do the same for this. Okay, just brush it off so it looks like the arm is outside the line. So next up, I'm going to drop my brush tool, and then I'm going to add my logo. So I'm going to group these as let me group this. Okay, hold my shift key, select this and group them as a rectangle layer, and then I'm going to group these as the background. So I'm going to come click this shift key, click my shift button, Ctrl G, and I say background. So it's good you always rename your layer so that, okay, for proper identification and okay, to make your workflow easy as well. So next up, I'm going to add my logo. So I'm going to drag in my logo, and by the way, these are the documents I'm using for this tutorial. They're right here, so I'll leave a link to these documents in the description box as well. So I'm going to open this in Photoshop, and then I'm going to, once again, it's always good you convert to a smart object, okay, so that the image would maintain its original resolution. So I'm going to reduce this, all right, and drag it into the work area like so. All right, something like so. All right, so next up I'm going to add the font, or add the text. I already have the text in my notepad, so I'm just going to copy this. All right, copy this. Okay, let me just copy both. Copy this, take my text tool. All right, Ctrl V to paste, and then I change this to white. Let me change the font to white. All right, so next up I'm going to change the font to I'm going to go to my character panel and then go for a font Quaker QUK. Yes, this is it. All right, and then let me zoom out. Okay, so I'm going to resize this, something like so, and then I'm going to duplicate this by holding the Alt key, click and drag. Okay, and bring it down a bit and type the word solutions. ONS. Okay, I click this to drop my tool. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to group these. Okay, I'll hold the shift key, click them, and Ctrl G, group them as main caption. Okay, you can rename them to whatever name you want to use, and then I'm going to rasterize this. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this first just to have a backup. All right, so next up I'm going to rasterize this. So I'm going to right click and select convert to smart object, and then I click again and say rasterize layers. All right, because I want to add some effect to this. All right, so next up I'm going to go to just add a little effect to the alphabet I. So I'm going to go to my color picker, and I'm going to take the color on the logo. Okay, right here. I'm going to take my color picker and come here to select the exact color on the logo, which is this. Ctrl C, and then I come to the main caption. That's the one I just rasterized. So I take my pen bucket tool right here. All right, then I go to the alphabet I and click just to give that orange effect. So you can also repeat the same for this, okay, if you want to. All right, but I think I'll just leave it on the first one also, either. So I drop my text, my pen bucket tool. So next up I'm going to come to my to the layer I just rasterized, and I'm going to add some effects. So I'm going to right click and go to blending options, and then I'm going to give it a drop shadow. All right, I'm going to increase it, so let the text come out, and then yes, I'm going to go to my contour. Okay, let me leave it at the default. I think the default works best, and then increase it a bit, and then I go down and click, and I go right here and click OK. So as you can see, we have successfully added some effect to the main caption. So next up, I'm going to add the services. Okay, let me resize the logo a bit. Okay, and then take it up. All right, so this is it. Let me take it up a bit. All right, so I'm going to add the services. Okay, what we do, what this organization does. And of course, by the way, you can follow me on my social media accounts at gracevillesolutions on Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. All right, so I'm going to copy this. These are the services we offer. Okay, graphic design, social media marketing, social media management, training, and consultancy. So I'm go to my text tool, pressing the letter T on the keyboard. I come here and I paste, Ctrl V to paste. And then I come to my select all, go to my character panel, change this to white, and then drop my 2. Then I go to my character panel right here, change the font to a Montserrat. Then I go for a Montserrat regular, I think, or semi-bold. Semi-bold is cool. And then, okay, so I drop my 2, and then I come here and then I resize. Alright, so next up, I'm going to come to my property panel right here and increase the leading, or the leading. Give it the 10.10 is too much. I go for, let's say, 9. Okay, let's go for an 8. Okay, let's go for a 7. Okay, 7 is cool. I'm going to drag it up right here and ensure it's properly aligned. Now, as you can see, when you begin to drag, okay, to adjust it, you see that there's this pink line that shows you that there is an alignment right there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. Then I'm going to just come to my layer options once again, and I group these ones. Okay, Ctrl G, group it as services. All right, then I'm going to do something really cool right here. So I'm going to go to my shape tool. I just want to insert like bullet points. Okay, so I go to my shape tool right here, and then I go for an ellipse tool. So I'm going to hold my shift key and just click this, click and draw a little ellipse, something like so. And then I go to the fill option. I want to give it a dark, let me give it a blue color, something that looks like similar to the logo. So I give it this color and I click OK and OK. So as you can see, I've sort of created a little bullet point. So what I'm going to do next is just to hold my Alt key and then click and drag it. Okay, so as you can see, that pink line shows that it's properly aligned. Okay, so that's how you know that you are on the same track. Okay, so I'm going to drag it again, duplicate this. Right, then I go once again, do it for the last time, duplicate this and show it's properly aligned. Cool. So if you are having value from this video already, please give this video a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel for more amazing graphic design and general internet tips and tricks. Okay, so I'm going to group these ones. Okay, it's under, I've already grouped them inside the services folder. That's cool. So I'm going to bring it down a bit more, just okay. Then I'm going to add sort of a drop shadow to, okay, I'm going to duplicate this by pressing letter J on the keyboard, turn off this layer, and then I'm going to rasterize this layer, convert to smart object, and then rasterize. And then I'm going to, alright, and then I'm going to add a drop shadow to this layer, to the surface layer. So I go to my blending options, go to blending options, and then go to drop shadow. Cool. And then let me reduce it a bit so it doesn't come too obvious. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, so next up I'm going to add that just a little text, what we do. So I'm going to go to, then I just add, say, what we do. Alright, so I'm going to change this to, let me use the font autograph. So I go to my character panel, change this to autograph. Alright, so, and then let me go back to, let me change the color. I go to my color option right here, and then I pick the orange from the logo, Yes, just make it a little bit light. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of feel. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of feel. Or let me just increase the... Okay. Then I'm going to add a little bit of... just take my rectangle tool. Alright, and then I'll just go over this. Oh, okay. And then draw a rectangle just over this. Alright. Then I'm going to... I'm going to position this, okay, above the rectangle, and then change the color to black. Okay, let me change the color to a black, or that's the color from the logo. Okay, that's cool. And then I'm going to reduce the opacity on the rectangle a bit. So I come to my layer panel, just turn it down a bit, something like so. Alright, so next up I'm going to add my social media accounts. So I go to File, and then place Embed, and then bring in my icons, my social media icons. I click OK, I click this YouTube, and then I drop my tool here. Alright, so then I'm going to resize this. First of all, convert to a smart object. Yes, and then I'm going to change the color to white. So I go to my blending options, and then I go down to color overlay, and yes, I'm going to change this to white. Okay, sorry, color overlay, not outer glow. Yes, okay, so it's white already. Or should I give it an orange? Let me see how that looks on this. Let me give it an orange. Yeah, I think an orange will be cool. Okay, you can just play around with the colors and see what works best, but since I'm trying to use something from the brand, okay, from the logo right here, so that's why I opted for an orange. Okay, I think an orange will work best on this. I'm going to resize it, something like so. Maybe here. And then let me bring the go back and bring that of the Instagram. Right click, open with Photoshop, and then I'm going to take out the white background. So I go to my eraser tool by pressing the letter E on the keyboard, take out the background. Alright, and next up I convert to a smart object. Right click and convert to a smart object, and then drag it into my work area. Okay. Oh, there's still there's still a white background on this. So I go once again, take out my eraser tool. Okay, take it out. Cool. And then I go to my blending options, color overlay. Yeah, that's great. And then I'm going to resize this. Alright, I'm going to resize this. Oh, Ctrl Z. Okay, let me drag that into. Alright, then I go to my Facebook. I'm going to right click and say open in Photoshop. Okay, then I'm going to take out the white background on this one. Take my eraser tool, pressing the letter E on the keyboard, take out the white background. Go to my color overlay, right click, go to blending options, and repeat the process as well. Color overlay, orange color, I'm going to drag it into my work area, and then I'm going to convert to a smart object. Yes, I'm going to resize this like I did to the others. Okay, bring it down here. So I'm going to add my social media address. Alright, so once again, you can follow me on my social media accounts at gracevillesolutions. Alright, so I'm going to change this to white and use the font Montserrat. Of course, I love Montserrat. It's an amazing font, very beautiful font. Alright, so I'm going to bring it right here, change this to uppercase G. Alright, so I'm going to resize this. I'm going to bring it in. So follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for at gracevillesolutions. I post a lot of tips there as well. Okay, and you can also contact me there if you need designs for your events, your flyers, your church, your NGOs, party flyers. Okay, you can also send me a DM on my social media accounts. So yeah, let me just add something to this. I'm just gonna add bring in a light effect. So I go to my my light effects. Okay, let me open this in Photoshop. Alright, so here's our lighting effect. So I'm going to bring it into my work area. Let me see how it's going to look on that. So I'm going to ensure that it's right above the caption. Okay, so I'm going to drag it down all the way down to my here. So this is where I want it to be. So I'm going to go to my blending options right here, and then just play around it and see what's going to come out. Okay, let's see, soft light. Alright, I think soft light is cool. So I'm going to create a masking layout to this. Take my brush tool and ensure your foreground color is set to black. And then I'm going to brush off, yes, just going to brush it off. And increase the size of the brush once again, just brush off. Alright, so I think this is cool, coming together. And then drop my tool and then take my lighting effect and just position it, and I can also increase it as well. Okay, if this doesn't work out, what other options we can do is that I can, okay, let's tweak it a bit. So I can also create a masking layer or a new layer, okay, and then I take my my brush by pressing the letter B on the keyboard, right, and then I'm going to ensure that the foreground color is set to something bright like this, or to a good color. Okay, let me just leave the orange color that was there, and then just something bright. Let's see this, okay, and then I come down to just above where the caption is. I click this, and then I'm going to drag it down to just where I have my caption. Okay, something like this. Okay, right here, this should be under main caption. Okay, here, and then I'm going to go to my blending options. I'm going to click this and just give it that glow. So I think this is better than the other one. I'm going to go for this one or screen. Okay, any of them that works, I mean that works well for you, but I think screen is okay by me. I'm going to go to my layer options and then resize it just to, okay, you can just resize it to give that glow effect. Alright, so I think this is cool and nice. I can also duplicate this by holding my Alt key, click and drag. Okay, drop this two first by holding my Alt key, click and then drag it. I'll leave it at the middle. Alright, so I think our design is ready, so you can just play with it and see what comes out of that. Alright, so this is how you can design a cool simple social media post, okay, for your Instagram account, Facebook and Twitter account. So I'm sure you had value from this video. If you did, please give this video a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel because I make a ton of videos on graphic design and general internet tips and tricks. So till I see you in my next video, take care and stay safe.